There we go. All right, you ended off at the end of 4-4. We're factoring. Y'all had like 25 minutes or so in class to work, so check yourself before you mathematically wreck yourself. Any questions about the first six? Okay. And as always, the reminder that if you just have answer, if I don't see any work, especially those things broken apart like we were doing on, what was that, Monday? If you don't got it, I ain't gonna count it because I don't believe you. Like when you think I don't see you with blank pages and you're scrambling to copy it all down right in front of me and think I don't see it, you are going to get a big fat 0 on that and it'll say do it for real. No? Any of us? Okay. Boop, boop. Now, by all means, having the answer so that you can do the work to check it, that's one thing. Just make sure you're not trying to BS your way through it. Okay. 15 through 20. Come on, Frank. Come on, Frank. You can do it. No, I do not want this as a GIF. Anything about the next six? We got everyone but Elise, right? Everyone else here? Cool. Doop, 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 doop. Savey, savey. There we go. Oof. Frank running slow today. All right, then the absolutely. What I would do is on that page, like make a note that's big and obvious so that when I come through and I see a page with no work on it, say on separate page in back, something like that, and then I'll go check. Absolutely, because I know that sometimes they don't give you much room, especially something like this where you might be breaking apart and factoring multiple expressions, multiple terms. Yeah, they don't give you too much space. 2122, they say an area is this. What is the width? Notice that they have 3x to the third on there, and that's the length. How do I find area of a rectangle? Length times width, right? So if I know that 3x to the third times something will make this, they're just asking you to go backwards from what we did before. So I'd still break them apart. I'd call this 3 by 5 is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. I would call that a -1 with a 3 and a 3 and triple x. Oh yeah, we were talking about how horrible that movie was. It was good, dumb fun. It was just a bunch of guns blazing.
It's one of those movies where you gotta watch at least once a year.
Yeah. Vin Diesel is not a very good actor, but whatever. It was good shoot 'em up fun.
One of those movies where you gotta watch at least once.
Yeah.
To understand the trade-offs.
Okay. So when they have 3x cubed, basically what I do is I take the 3 and x and x and an x out. I know there's a 5x left here. The 3, the x, the x, the x out, a -3 left here. So it's kind of like they want you to factor it, but they already told you the GCF. Okay. Same thing for 22. The volume of liquid is modeled by the expression, factor the expression. Blah, 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 do what you just did. Okay? Factor it, break it up. And be very careful that this has a 20 and a 16. Yeah, you can take 4 out of those, but equal opportunity bully says no. Yeah, this has an X and an X. This guy doesn't. Equal opportunity bully says no. Okay? Okay, vocab is always pretty straightforward. Two expressions that can be a factored version of this. So normally I would take 2 x's out, leaving an x and a 4. If I'm looking for GCF, the greatest common factor. But I could make it, what if I just didn't take everything out? What if I only took a x out of 2x. If I only took one x out of there, I'd have an x squared and a 4x left over. Remember, GCF is greatest common factor. Sometimes they can have a common factor that isn't the biggest one. Like what if I said the numbers 50 and 100? What do they got in common as a factor? Well, 50, right? 50 times 1 and 50 times 2. But don't they have smaller stuff in common too? They're both divisible by 5. They're both divisible by 10, by 2, by 25. So sometimes you can take out a little bit instead of a lot of it. Again, asking if you can just think your way through the problem. Now, how do we feel about that? Like, I got this. Easy peasy. Like, I got the idea, but I keep goofing stuff and I want to be careful about it. Or, dude, I'm hurting. Okay? That's kind of where I figured. And that is why, if you look right after this, we got more practice. Okay? I kind of figured. We're not going to do a daily check yet. Is it this one or the one that says B? This one or this one? This one? Okay. So we'll start with the easiest of the easy. When we look at numbers 1 through 4, The idea behind them is you always want to break things up. In this case, the only way I make 7 is 7. Only way I make x is x. But this breaks into 7 by 7. So if I want to chop this up and say what they got in common, well, contestant 1 and 2 both share a 7. So if I take a 7 out of both of them, tells me what's left. 7x divided by 7 is just x. 49 divided by 7 is just 7. Okay, this is another way to do it. What we were doing on Monday was we'd write out every single term, like line by line by line. You can do that as well. I can write 5a cubed and write it as 5 times a times a times a. Yo. That is a true statement. Yeah. And negative 15. Do you remember what we did with negatives? We only saw it like 2 or 3 times. Okay, what times what makes 15? So I know there's a 3 and a 5. Where's that multiplication chart then? I don't know. We better find it. If it's a negative 15, what I'm just going to do is put a negative 1 in front of it. Right? Anything times a negative 1 is the opposite sign. So what we were doing on Monday was we'd write them out line by line like this and maybe say they have a 5 in common. So I'd take the 5 out, leaving an a squared. A negative 1 times 3 is minus 3. So you can either write them out kind of like our terms from combining like terms, or you can go line by line. And if you got a better way to do it, okay, tell me, show me. 99% of the stuff that a teacher comes up with in class, if they're willing to change instead of just, I am the law, then most of what I come up with, I was working with a kid, I tried this, and they said, oh, that's way easier. Why didn't you just say that in the first place? Okay? So you gotta engage with that, and if you know a better way to write it out than this, then you tell me. So that was the idea, but then we started making them bigger and uglier. Somewhere on that page, Grace, which one does the Sullivan have to do? 11. 11's got a bunch of alpha soup on there. So what I'd do is first I'd make sure I know what my terms are. Then I'll break up my terms. What times what makes 4? 2 and 2. Okay. So I'd write 2 by 2 by A, B, B. Y'all tell me, does it make more sense to have them stacked vertically or write them all out horizontally? Okay. I heard a very tired horizontal. What about 16? Okay. 4 and 4, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So you got to write that as 2, 2, 2, 2, then the A and B. All right, we'll move this guy down here. And contestant 3. How do I break up 12? 2 and 6, 2 and 3. So there's a 2, a 2, a 3, and an A. If I write that out all in one big long like this, do you see how it might get a little confusing where one term starts or stops? That's why I'm going to go put my boxes back on there, just so I know where my 3 terms are. And then, what do they have in common? What's the most 2's that they got in common? Pair of 2's. So a pair of 2's, a pair of 2's, a pair of 2's. So I'll say a 2 by 2. And I'll get rid of them. How many A's, or sorry, how many 3's do they have in common? Just that one hanging out at the end. A's. Uno. B's. Also uno. Oh. 0, because that last guy does not have a B. Right? So just an A, no B's. What is 2 by 2 by A? 4A. That's what a Canadian golfer says. Don't shake your head in sadness. That was like a C tier dad joke. Make sure that you...
So then how much sleep did you get last night?
4.5 hours?
Exactly, that's why you're judging on the dad jokes.
Get rid of the A's that they had in common, and then everything that's left, A, B, B. So I'll write AB squared. 2, 2B. 4B. And plain old 3. Uh-oh. Is it a positive 3 or a negative 3? Positive, because I didn't have to put my negative 1 in front of it when I was breaking this up. There you go. That's your answer. Okay? Now, if you're good, like really good with mental math, you might be able to do this on the fly without writing stuff out. But if you're not, look at how much stuff we had to write. That's why you got room on here. That's why I would like you to write things out. Let me think for a second. Yep. All right. Dylan. Get me. Another one. What's something else that I should be doing? Gross? 10? 12? 12? Okay. I can't say it out loud, though.
I'm thinking what you're thinking.
Usually there's some G's in there, too. So, the first thing that we do is... I'm going to separate my terms so that I know what I'm breaking up. 10. Just 2 and 5. So I'll write my whole business out this time and say 10 h to the third n to the third was, you don't have to write it all out like this, 2 by 5 by h, 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 n, n, n. When I see why I put those boxes there, this is a negative 2 hn squared. How do I break up a negative 2? Like, oh, he erased it. The 2 itself is prime, but we're going to put the negative 1 in front of it, so I know negative 2 is a negative 1 by 2. Just in case. And then a h, and then ends. And finally, at the end, 14. Who by what? So 14hn. 2 by 7 by h by n by n. I swear that's an n. It really does seem like they do that on purpose, doesn't it? P's next to Q's, H's next to N's.
It's like a dyslexic.
Yeah. You hear the one about the dyslexic kid who kept writing his Christmas letters to Satan?
That alone is just kind of.
It's an old one. Also, that's why I would never, ever, ever, ever take points off on anything for spelling or anything like that. Like, oh, spelling's hard, words are hard. If you get your point across, let the spell check do the work for you. When they're stacked vertically like this, isn't it a little bit easier to see what they have in common? Okay, so I see a 2 in common. I see H in common. And I see a N in common. So if those are my two things that we have in common, then out comes a 2HN. And if I scribble those out, if I say no more 2's, no more H's, no more N's. See, I'm using that thin line so that we can still see what's there. Then whatever's left is literally what is left. 5 double H double N. Careful what's left with the next one. Marcus.
Yeah. What's up? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I know.
What was the question?
Let's just put the phones away. Okay. A negative 1 and an N, so we call it. What kind of 7? See, there's no negative 1 next to it. That's why I'm separating those. That's how I know that it's plus 7 instead. Okay. Flip it over to the back. You know what's coming. I see a whole lot of problems. And I see a room full of kids. Yep. You know what? No. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to cut us down to the bottom. I'm going to cut us down to those ones because I don't want us to completely try to cop out here. Let's try that again. All right. 7? Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Honestly, Dylan? Are we just going to go on down the line here? I heard a 9. Okay. Emily? Okay. Tegan?
Can we try to go backwards now?
Marquise?
Let me get 12.
Yeah? Dylan? Okay. Team?
I'll take 14.
Okay. 18? Okay. Layton?
Give me whatever, I don't really have any options. Bro, you got 30.
Jasper? Oh, there you go. Sniped.
I'll take 17.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, Kalen, we'll have you double up on Drace's. You want 18? All right. Get him, kid.
I'll double up on Gracie.
No. All right. To the boards. Everything on the boards besides the brownie points and that tournament bracket can be erased. There's like rags for erasing. That can be erased. Yep. That can be erased too. That was signups. We're already in tournament mode. Yep, you can get rid of all that. So, okay.
Brain's not making any sense on any of these.
So go grab your factor. Oh, go grab your factor tree or your factor
I
chart.
don't have a factory tray. I wasn't here for that class. You get mine.
Middle pocket on the binder on the wall. All of that can go. All of it can go. Okay. So what times what makes 30?
5 and 6.
Okay. Okay, so 5 is prime. Because the only way that you make 5 is with 5 and 1. 6 is not.
3 and 2.
So I take this first term and I write it out by all of its factors. I'll call it 2, 3, 5, and then I'll write out all my variables.
3 X's. Then Y.
Okay, how do we break this guy up?
7 and 5.
Okay. Can I break up 5 or 7? Okay, so I write it as 5, 7.
And then 2 X's and 2 Y's.
Then you look for what they have in common. They share a 5.
2 X's and 1 Y.
So that's what I write. 5x squared y. And then if I get rid of those,
So now, what do they all have?
it tells me what's left. The first term, a 6 and an x. The second term, a 7 and a y. Ta-da! It's just you got to break them up like that every time. Okay? Try this one solo.
My brain's currently running on like 2 hours of sleep.
I get that.
It's starting to.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I just carry this right down?
Yeah, split
There's
this.
no other twos?
Split this. Split this.
Okay.
Hey!
That's what I mean.
You should start making big push-ups.
Dude, this has nothing in common. This is so messed up.
They don't have
I'm just saying you should just start making them do exercises in class.
I got to hear, and there's like nothing, because there's no. So, probably not, but see how there's like X's, so there's no twos and there's no X's, so it's nothing. It's just that.
That's all it is.
This is your answer. Since you can't take anything out,
Yeah.
that's just your answer.
I got my.
But you answered the question, though. You broke it apart and you saw they had nothing in common. So that's just your answer.
I'm all done.
Did I do one right? There's not one correct because I'm like, because none of them match. Is that it?
So I just wouldn't have the one there.
So I did do it right.
The original is your answer, yes.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I don't know, dog.
Alright, what do I do after this part?
Now 18. 9 by 2.
Not plus 5 times 3 times B times triple G.
Okay, so,
That's an X.
oh, I thought you were down to 9.
Okay?
I'm all done. That's it. That's all you can
Yes.
do. Alright, wait, now what?
I'm that guy.
Now what's up? Now I'm just helping Mark.
Okay, now that you've taken those out, what is 5 times 3? Okay, so 15, BG cubed.
3 X's. B, G, and then to go down the line.
Parenthesis.
Oh. A 2.
So now, what is left in the first term after you take that stuff out?
5 and 2.
No,
5 and
5 and B. There you go.
6 and 4.
What's left in the other guy? Positive or negative?
3.
Close parenthesis.
So it'd be,
Mic drop.
okay.
Okay.
So it's 2. My mind just blanked there.
So if all they have in common is a 2, then just take a 2 out.
You're funny.
I was drawing. Oh, you're funny.
Okay, some of you found out, yes. Sometimes they don't have a greatest common factor. Sometimes your answer is just the problem.
How does it get a 20B when there's an A being multiplied to it?
How'd you take an A out? They didn't have anything in common.
I did that one after because I would wait for
Yeah.
20 existed.
Okay.
Okay, 5x
Does that make sense?
out of this guy. Got it. Okay, we feeling okay about this?
Once I get the hang, like
Yeah.
once I get help from a teacher, then I can roll.
That's why we're practicing. Just gotta.
But when I try to do it myself, and there's numbers, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And that is why sometimes Mama Bird kicks Baby Bird out of the tree. They need help getting started.
Yep.
4, 8, 16, 27.
Okay.
So 16 parentheses. 16 parentheses. Alright.
Okay, and see how they didn't all share something?
Well, then you go 16 parentheses.
Like, this guy doesn't have B's.
Free MP.
This guy doesn't have A's.
Don't you dare. Well, free.
This guy doesn't have 2's.
Second.
Yeah, I did.
Free M to the
Since none of them had anything in common, That's just it.
Oh, I did
Kind of.
it?
You gave up, but the answer is the problem.
3 to 4.
So,
Do I multiply all these 3?
no, you take a 3 out because I'm taking a 3 from all of them.
So you just put 3 in.
It's like reverse distribution. Yep, parenthesis,
And then you have the 3
parenthesis.
parenthesis.
Now, scribble the 3 and the x out from each of them. Yeah.
And then you have,
And then everything that's left is literally what is left.
so it'd be 3a. No, don't put the multiplication. You just put 3 and then the a, and then x to the second. Because there's 2 x's.
Oh, if you want to multiply on the fly like that, you can. But if you're writing it all out and then going to multiply them, that's cool too. So like on the next one, see how it's 2 by 3 by b by x?
Yeah.
Can you multiply that on the fly? 2 times 3 is 6bx. And we'll say plus because it was a positive.
Where'd you get the second a?
That's a 6bx.
Oh, ooh.
Just make sure you say plus,
Put the plus.
because that's a whole new term. There you go.
I did not know that was a.
And then 2 by 2 by 2?
8.
Yes.
What is the
Whoa.
addition?
Plus 8.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Come on, like Sire rolling around at homecoming, leave room for Jesus, right? You got to put that plus in there.
He was probably awesome.
A long time.
25.
Wait, what? 25 minutes?
Oh,
Are you
yeah,
gonna
I
walk
just
through
said
tonight?
about a remote.
Oh, wait. I'm confusing y'all with my white 4 class now because of the, okay. Y'all are done at 1:39, so that means we've got 50 minutes left. We've got lots of time. Okay.
So do you want me to do the rest of these since we did them all together?
Nope. Okay. So y'all know that I am not big on giving you a bunch of needless work. I'm going to give you practice to do, but doing the entire rest of the page is kind of overkill. Doing, you flip it over to the part B, doing 26 problems is kind of overkill. But we do have a couple of hiccups along the way, so we are going to get practice in. So here's what we're doing. You go over to 44B. So you've got enough room to work things out if you need to. Just do the odds. Just do the left-hand column, front and back. Okay, that'll be 13 total problems. And yes, we do have like 50 minutes of class still. I'm not going to go uber hard on you. So those 13 for extra practice with this, and then, if I remember right, y'all still owe me a progress check, don't you? Progress check 1. Okay. Progress check 1 was naming and combining again. So we got progress check 1 and then some practice here. You've got almost an hour to work on that and just get more practice in. That's what we're doing the rest of class. Next class, you will get the next packet. You will get the last packet for 5B. Yeah, we ain't that far away.
How many more packets do we have left?
1.
Oh, no, that's
That's the definition of last.
my bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, because things got moved. So 16 classes left. 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each of those going to take 3 extra, 7. Yeah, we've got 14 classes left, and I can think of at least 8 more, and then review, and then final. So we're still going to have our final a little bit early, which I think y'all would appreciate, given that you're going to have to come back for finals after Memorial Day, or at least some of them. So, progress check 1, 4-4B odds. We got the rest of class to work on that. Please ask questions. Don't waste your time. Okay, let's just get her done. Yes, sir. That's a teacher by teacher basis thing. In this class, I like to do the final early because I know that most kids in this class are probably a little sketchy about their other finals and could use that time to stress about one less final. If you finish your final in here and you are satisfied with your grade as is, just don't bother showing up during the Maroon 2 finals block. You have it off, enjoy your summer.
Can we get some water?
Yeah. Okay.